Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch, and once again, I'm on the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail. There you can see the gravel road behind me. Today, I've chosen the Canon R6 Mark II and their new 200 to 800 lens, which is a 6.3 to 9, but in my experience using it ever since it first came out, I have much better luck shooting this lens at f10, so that's what I'll be doing today. And this lens is so scarce, it's so hard to come by. I'm acquainted with a person who is a professional photographer, professional wildlife photographer, and she leads trips all over the world to do amazing photography. And she has called me up and asked if she can rent this lens because it's so hard to come by. So I'm going to rent this lens to her. And I've always wanted to go to Iceland to do all sorts of photography. And I may not get to go in my entire life, but next week, my lens is. So today's going to be my last day using this lens for a little bit, and I'm excited to be here on the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail. And I've already gotten a shot. I pulled right in just past the gate, just down there. You may be able to see the gate at the end. Oh, and by the way, the swallows are still nesting in the gate I saw today. I thought they were done, but I did see swallows going in and out of the end of that gate, which you may have seen me make photos of them in videos from a month or so ago. But I've already gotten a prairie warbler right here in this thicket, which is the habitat for a prairie warbler, just right outside the car. I'm sitting here shooting out the window of the car, and not a lot of light this morning yet. The sun's just starting to peek over the hill over here, so not much shutter speed and a whole lot of ISO. But hopefully some of these prairie warbler shots came out good. Let's take a look and see how the 200 to 800 is doing shooting at f10 on the R6 Mark II for a prairie warbler. Here's the first prairie warbler shot, and my favorite one from this section of today's photo shoot. I'm at 707 millimeters. Always the settings are up here at the top left. 707 and f10, kind of the sweet spot for this lens, but I think this is the only shot today where I used it. Slow shutter speed, 1/250th. I'm using the electronic shutter, which helps keep motion blur and shutter shock out of your shot when you're not using a mechanical shutter. 2500 ISO, probably my favorite in this little section, but I did get two more. This one, I accidentally went to 800 millimeters, which is, in my opinion, not the best place to be on this lens. I like 707 or maybe 742, but this one's at 800, 1/250th f10. And I believe this one is also at 800 millimeters. Just love seeing the beautiful prairie warblers this time of year, and the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail is a great place to see them. I've made it all the way down to the end of the gravel road now, where it opens up large for trailer parking so people can walk their horses on the equestrian trail that's right down there. And usually this left-hand side of the parking area is not that good historically for me. But now some of these pine trees have gotten a little bit taller, and I've managed to find an Indigo Bunting that was kind of landing in the top of some of these pine trees and made a few shots of it. Not a lot of light, but not too bad. And, you know, sometimes it would land in a tree and I would have sky as a background, and I'd just move the car backwards until these taller trees in the background were behind the shot instead of sky, because this is backlit. If it was facing this way, having blue sky in the background would be fine because there would be light on the bird. But facing this way, if there's blue sky in the background, it would be a silhouette and it wouldn't look that good. Although some people like that kind of shots, it's not really my thing. Here's the first of 4 photographs I got of the Indigo Bunting there in the tops of the pine trees. And this one's 800 millimeters f10, 1/250th, ISO 2000. Got some interesting bokeh balls in the background of this, so that's kind of nice. And here's another one, same settings on that same perch, just got the bird facing in the other direction, which I like to do that, catch 2 different poses on one perch. That's kind of something that I always enjoy doing. Completely different perch now, and this one is at 742 millimeters, 1/250th f10 and ISO 2000. And I think once again, I'm going to get 2 poses on this same perch. One looking in this direction and the other one looking in this direction. So 4 photographs of the Indigo Bunting there near the parking area at the equestrian trail. I've come over to this area that's maybe my favorite spot here at Summit Knobs Equestrian Trailhead. And the first bird I saw in this area was a yellow-breasted chat. And I struggled to get a decent shot of it, but I did see it again. And I also saw a white-eyed vireo, which was cool. So white-eyed vireo, yellow-breasted chat. And this is where I got the summer tanagers just 3 days ago when I was here with my Sony gear. And I've heard them a little bit, but I haven't seen an adult male. I did see either a juvenile or it might have been a female, I'm not sure. Way high in a tree, not a very good shot. But anyway, let's look and see what I've gotten from my favorite spot so far. Here's a 742 millimeter shot of the yellow-breasted chat, 1/320th of a second and 3200 ISO. Kind of playing peekaboo with me here. I had a real hard time. I kept seeing the yellow-breasted chat, but I couldn't get its face, and finally it poked its head out for just a moment, and I love the way the tail's wrapped around backwards here in this shot. Pretty cool shot of the yellow-breasted chat. I get some full-body shots, a little better shots of the yellow-breasted chat later in this video. Here is the white-eyed vireo. I love these little birds. 742 millimeters for this one. F10, as all photos in today's video are F10 1/320th and 2000 ISO. Just a nice little shot of the white-eyed vireo. Here's another one, same perch, same settings, different pose. I think I probably like this second one the best. And I think I have one more on this. No, it's a different perch. This one is F10 6400 ISO. I use Topaz Denoise AI to clean all of these up. This is another 742 millimeter shot, and I'm really starting to like that focal length with this lens in addition to 707. Now this one and the next one are a couple of my favorite yellow-breasted chat pictures of the day. Another 742 millimeter shot, 1/320th, still at F10, and this one's 1250 ISO. Really like the way this one turned out, but this next one I believe may be my favorite yellow-breasted chat photograph of the whole day, and it may be my favorite photograph of any bird of the whole day. Just really love the way this turned out. The colors are just right. I love the exposure of the eye. The sharpness is very good, and I like the way the bokeh is rendered on this out of focus leaf here in the background. I think that's really attractive. Just every single thing about this one turned out really good, and I'm very happy with it. Here's another yellow-breasted chat photo, same settings, 1/320th, 742 millimeters F10, ISO 1250 for this one, and this one was a little bit further away. I do like the bokeh balls that are blue in the background of this. It's just the way the light was. That turned out really cool because you've got nice in-focus green and you've got in-focus yellow and out-of-focus blue bokeh balls in the background. Very attractive, but I still don't like this one as much as this one. Wow, that one was my favorite. This is the summer tanager. Now this one is a juvenile male. When they become adults, they'll be fully red. And this one is starting to turn red, but it's a juvenile male. Very high up in the tree. Wasn't really happy with this shot, but you don't get to see summer tanagers very often. So I decided to go ahead and share this one with you. 742 millimeters F10, 1/320th and 1250 ISO, which has been the same settings for the last several photos. I'm still hanging around here in my favorite spot at the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail, and I just got a number of prairie warbler shots. Hopefully some of those are pretty good. I got 3 shots of the prairie warbler that I like enough to share with you. These are at 1/400th of a second, 742 millimeters F10 and ISO 2000 for this one. And here's one singing, same settings. Pretty cool shot. And I think the next one is also singing, yes. And this one is the same settings except for ISO 2000. Nice little trio of prairie warbler shots, including 2 singing shots, which are always attractive. Now I'm back closer to the beginning of the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail, and I've spotted an orchard oriole. This is a male orchard oriole, but it's an immature male, which has a completely different color pattern than the mature males, and it's different than the females as well. But I managed to get a few shots. I couldn't get really close, but I definitely got a shot or 2 of the immature male orchard oriole. Wow, there goes a great blue heron. This is the Orchard Oriole, and it's an immature male. The females don't have this black area right here, and the adult males are mostly brown. But this is the look of the immature male, and the immature male may have the most striking colors of any of the Orchard Orioles. Now this shot, I'm only at 324 millimeters, 1/500th now, f10, 2000 ISO, and I just kind of like this from almost a landscape photography point of view. We've got a tree here in the foreground that you can see, and then slightly further back in the background is where the focus point is on the Orchard Oriole, but you've also got mountains in the background and lots of bokeh. Kind of an interesting shot. And then after I made this shot, the next shot is on the same perch, so this will show you the range of this lens. This is 324 millimeters, same perch, and I didn't move, and this is 800 millimeters. You can see it's standing on these two pine tops, and now it's standing on the same two pine tops. A lot of really bokeh-fied background in this because that background was so far away, as you saw in the previous shot. 1/500th f10, 800 ISO, and 800 millimeters. I probably might have gotten it a tiny bit sharper if I'd been at 742, but 800 looks pretty good as well. This is probably my second favorite photograph of the day after that yellow-breasted chat that I was so fond of. Another 800 millimeter shot here, f10, 1/500th, and 1250 ISO of the Orchard Oriole singing. And here's another singing shot of that same Orchard Oriole. This one is 742 millimeters ISO 640, 1/800th of a second, and f10. I'm always happy to see the Orchard Oriole. I usually, if I do see them, I only see them 2 or 3 times in a season. So I was happy to see this one today. This is the last shot of the day. It's the immature Orchard Oriole again, just a beautiful little bird. This is 800 millimeters, 1/800th, f10 and ISO 1000. And as I mentioned, I'm always happy to see the Orchard Oriole. I have enjoyed using the R6 Mark II and the 200 to 800 today. It's doing better, you know, now that I've switched back to using it on the R6 Mark II over the last few outings. It's definitely doing better. Still, I don't think it's as sharp as like the Sony 200 to 600, for example. Definitely not as sharp as the Canon 100 to 500. I think the Nikon 180 to 600 is sharper. But I can get, as you've seen in this video, some acceptable results with it. So I'm going to keep it, but I'm not going to keep it for the next couple of weeks because this thing is going to Iceland. I think it's going to be doing puffin photography, which, man, that would be a dream to get to do puffin photography one day, but my lens is going to do it. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like the content. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see some more. And as always, I sure hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.